Hey, what's up, man?
Hey.
You want to react to some, I guess, notable news? Donald Trump.
I would like to, yes.
All right. This
Yes.
is just for, just for people going forward who were there and experienced it. So this is Trump's inauguration 2025. So these are some shorts we're going to watch. And
Oh, cool. Okay.
we'll see what's doing. The shorts are better than the videos. They're quicker.
True.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear
I, Donald John Trump, do
They were saying she looked like Hamburglar. Do you know who Hamburglar is?
Yes. Yes. I was. Yes.
That's kind of funny. It's kind of funny.
That is
solemnly
funny. Yeah.
swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the office of President of the United States
It's so interesting too, the way her hat is set. Like you can't really see her eyes.
Can't really see her eyes. Right?
It's gotta feel
a
kind of
lot of
cool to
people were
walk in like that.
commenting on
Yeah.
Yeah. She's.
the office.
In a way, she's diminishing her look so that way he can have more of a shine.
Yeah, it's kind of his moment to shine, right?
Mm-hmm.
He is, after all, becoming or is now the 47th president at this
Because
point.
a lot of times she's all dolled up, so that makes sense. I get
Yeah,
it.
true.
As President of the United States,
and will, to the best of my ability,
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
That's his daughter.
That's right.
That's both of his
That's right.
daughters right there.
Oh yeah.
That's
yeah,
I
there
see
they
his
are.
son back there too.
His son is back there too. Yeah.
And then
Big
look who
moment for the
it's
family.
you see Dr. Jill over there. Good old Dr. Jill.
There she is, Dr. Jill Biden.
You know what's
Yep.
crazy? Where she is born and grew up, I knew people that lived there,
really?
family friends, and I would go there and check them out, and then I found out she's from the same.
Interesting.
She's from Hamilton,
Very
New Jersey,
Okay. Oh, I didn't realize.
which
That's
is
very
just
interesting.
it's just like a farmland. I think it's the cranberry capital of the world, or blueberry, something like that.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, one of them.
preserve, protect, and
That's fun
defend
fact.
the Constitution of the United States.
the Constitution of the United States.
So help
This girl back here, if you can see my little
Yeah.
thing back, that's his granddaughter. I don't know her
Yes,
name.
Kai, I think her name is.
Kai
right?
is her
that
name, yeah.
Yeah, Kai Trump, I believe.
me God.
Yeah.
So help me
Yeah.
God.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
A short
right.
time from now, we are going to be
here we go.
changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico.
Oh man,
This one got me. This one got me.
I was sick that day. I died laughing when I
It's
heard
so
this one.
funny.
This was
Just the other night, I was watching Donald Trump, and
Yeah.
he made me laugh out loud. It was some meeting he was at, and he just started to because he is an entertainer as well, and he
Oh,
does
yeah,
make
yeah,
these
it's part of
jokes.
his,
Oh my God, it was
right.
it was something. He was just
Yeah.
he was talking all business, and he's like, he goes. He goes, this young lady, I can't even call her beautiful anymore, because if I say she's beautiful, they're going to have a problem with it. It's just a
That's
woman
right.
doing this job. It was so funny the way he was saying it.
he had me laughing at that very one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard that
It
too.
was so funny.
Like, I could call her beautiful, but I'm gonna get in trouble.
He's like,
She's gonna be all over me about
I
this.
can't call her young. I can't call her young and beautiful.
that had me laughing too. That
Oh God, that's funny you saw it, because that cracked me up.
Yeah. This
Go to the Gulf
of Mexico
of America, and we will restore the name of a great president, William McKinley, to Mount McKinley, where it should be and where it belongs.
Now I didn't realize they had changed that
short
from
time
McKinley
from
to
now,
Denali. Yeah, so that was an interesting.
Yeah. He wants to do a lot of things in Panama, right? Because America built
Yes.
that, and then so there's other
Yeah.
things he's going to eventually get to after the JFK stuff and the aliens. This is
Right.
this is wild. This is wild.
Oh, I know these.
Yeah.
These you know that Chinese proverb, "May you live in interesting times."
Yeah, we certainly do.
We
We certainly do.
The Gulf names are changing, and secrets are being revealed, and
Yeah, this reminds me. I'll say it on camera so I remember to bring it up to you. We should react to the World's Fair when they first introduced electricity.
I would love to do that.
We'll do
Yes,
that
yes.
next week. I think that would be really
That's
interesting.
fantastic.
I can
Yeah.
prep for that too. That's a great idea. I'd write it down, but I'll watch this video, so I'll probably hear that again. Hey, me. That's what I want to do. That's what we need to
You
do.
need a note to self, right?
Yeah, the World's Fairs were so cool. So you
they
talked
were
about
everything back
notable
then.
times,
Yeah.
so those were super notable. Yeah,
They
we'll do
were
that.
amazing events, like cultures would have their own pavilions or tents, I believe, or
Yep.
pavilions really. Of course, the U.S. and the Soviet Union, and you know, it just what a it must have been fascinating to see.
I
the World's
think
Fair.
they should bring it back. That's probably what
I
the
would
world
love
needs. Yeah.
I would love something like that. Yeah, because I'm so into that kind of thing anyway.
Yeah.
Brings people together. You get to experience different foods and different
Yeah.
cultures and even different scientific innovations and inventions.
Do you want to hear something interesting? This is just
Mm-hmm.
I'm off top. I don't care. We talk about it's my show. We're our show. We talk about what we want.
Word.
When the guy who wrote, I don't know his name, maybe you do. The guy who wrote Wizard of Oz.
Oh, yes, I forgot his name too.
He
but
grew.
yes.
He was born around the turn of the century, from 1899 to 1900, and
Yeah.
he saw electricity for the first time. They like lit it up. They lit the streets up. He was so
Oh, yeah.
inspired. Emerald
Yeah.
City. Emerald City is him. He saw the electricity, so that was the inspiration to the Emerald
That
City.
was the inspiration for the Emerald City.
And
That's cool.
The movies don't give the books much justice at all. There's a lot more of that city in his books, but that's what did it. The
right.
World's Fair, and he saw electricity turned on and it lit up the streets, and it just lit up everything, and that's where he got Emerald City
They
from.
do say like having electricity right around that. That was one of the biggest life changing for people in general. Around 1895, 1896.
Sure.
When life suddenly became just a little less of a brutal daily struggle to
existence.
survive, and electricity just changed everything.
And it wasn't that long
Thank
ago.
goodness.
But
And it
yeah.
wasn't that long ago.
Bit of a digression, but I liked it because that gives me the idea to go do that. So you said living in, what was the term you said? Living in the times of the
Living in the, I forgot. That's right.
the Chinese proverb.
The dark. Oh yes. May you live in interesting times.
May you live in interesting, and we certainly
Yeah.
do. All right, back to Mr.
yes.
Trump.
That's right.
Let's see.
Have tried to take my freedom and indeed to take my life. Just a
I
few
remember
months
this
ago
part.
in a beautiful Pennsylvania field, an assassin's bullet ripped through my ear. But I felt then, and believe even more so now, that my life was saved for a reason. I was saved by God to
Wow.
make America.
Just to say those words, because like America historically, recently history, the Bible Belt and all that. The second Bush ran on all that religion and all that,
A lot of
and
a lot of Bible Belt type.
it is
religious.
insane how far the Democratic Party went to go for the most low percentage type of people who have, it used to go for the whole country, and then all of a sudden the Democrats were going for like this, there's only like 2% of the people who behave like this, and let's go for the 1% of this. It wasn't about the majority. It was about the very, very little and obscure,
A small like cadre, for lack of better words, or group in the Democratic Party at very least seems to have hijacked a lot of that party's platforms and agendas and stuff. And it just seems to me they're going to have to do a lot of self-reflection. They seem to have gone too far off what I think a lot of Americans, because there are progressive Americans who I think are reasonable.
Yeah.
But it seems the party has gone so far off the rails that even for them, they're like, they don't make sense anymore.
They were stacking, in my opinion,
Yeah.
too much stuff that didn't relate with everyday people, and they
Right,
kept making
right.
everyone feel horrible because
Yes,
you were
you should
nothing
feel
like
bad.
them.
Because you don't relate to, whatever they, and it's not that they're disrespecting people, it's unrelatable.
It became not just one
Yeah.
thing, like BLM started it. It became like 30 things, right? And if you didn't agree with
Yeah,
any of
yeah.
the 30, like getting
Yeah,
utterly ridiculous.
Very dogmatic, speaking
Oh,
of kind of
man.
religious in their own way. They were very dogmatic. If you didn't believe the dogma that they laid out,
Yeah.
whoever they are before you, and you disagreed with one element, you were like basically a heretic.
Yep.
And you-
And
to
the
be burned
crazy
at the stake,
and the
right?
craziest part between after all of it, as Barack Obama being one of the most favored, like he's the greatest president of all time, a lot of people got completely turned off to him. His wife, it's enough. And then you get people like AOC and all these people just yelling at you and telling you how horrible you
it's
are.
true.
And you're just like,
You're a
wow.
horrible human for existing, even.
Yeah.
Is kind of what it boils down to for some of them, at least. They're yelling at you for being horrible for simply existing, and I'm like, well, I didn't choose that. That's kind of messed up.
Yeah.
But each individual is here, and at least in Western culture, we value the individual
Yeah.
at some level.
It truly,
whether you're left or right, really. So come on now.
it truly is and was a culture war. It is an absolute culture war that America went through.
yeah,
100%.
Mhm.
And when they look
I
at
think you're
it
absolutely right.
80 years from now and 50 years from now, because here's the thing, right? There's a lot of video. So future generations,
Yeah.
as long as we keep it going and the electric goes and we have the data, people can witness and see moments in history. Much like Trump, this whole thing
You're
is
right.
super
Yeah,
documented. And it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
you could
Yeah.
go eventually be like, look at this behavior. This is what this causes. Look at what it did to these people. If we could see video of like Roman times, how amazing would that be? If we could see,
I know, right?
Spartacus the day he got stabbed or something.
It would be
Holy shit.
Because it would almost be, it would be fascinating to me, I think, or just the way I feel about these sorts of things, is like, if there were video of ancient Rome and we would see all of that and the things that they were going through and the debates they were having and the
Yeah.
issues they were confronting,
Sure.
how similar it would be in a way to us.
And what
It's
if-
like a human story,
Right,
right? It would be
right.
so wild.
What if there
Yeah.
was all this footage of when it burned? Because I think Rome burned
Oh
horribly.
yeah, the fall
Oh.
of Rome when the Visigoths basically stormed the city. Yeah, I mean, what a crazy
Yeah.
what a crazy time.
And that's
Yeah,
just what we
unbelievable.
know about, and that's just stories that we've heard. It would be nice because the
yeah.
video, you can see it. But then now it's changing because of AI. You can have fake news and all that. So it is really
true.
weird
That's
to
true.
really, really get like to future generations what is true, because it just
Yeah.
always seems to be
Yeah.
manipulated. You know?
It does. It certainly feels that way. I'm sure you feel similarly, right? It feels like you almost have to question everything you watch, and it's a shame.
Yeah.
Like, I like to think about things, but I don't want to think that hard all the time.
Yeah.
It seems that that's what some of the media manipulations, let's say, or even AI and deepfakes and all those concerns. It's like I really have to pay extra attention now.
Yeah.
Which is good, but yeah, it's a little frustrating too. I just wish, could
I just
read
feel-
something and
I
it
feel
makes
like-
more action.
Our entire life and all the stuff we see is a big old psyop, because we come into a world
Right,
filled
right.
with rules that were made by people we never knew, and
Right.
they created the culture of when you cross the street, look both ways, and maybe another
Yeah,
place
right.
they tell you to just go jump in the street and sing to a god or something. Like
Yeah,
it's like who the hell, what is truly
is it
correct? I don't think there's anything correct. It's just a matter
It's-
of the culture of the times, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of questions. I actually think you arguably, and I've heard this argument made by others. I think you can get to a correct at some level based on science and an understanding of what's happening. But even given that, there's just so many open doors, because a lot of things are social context too.
Yeah.
What's correct in your culture? I might do something perfectly acceptable in the United States, but if I did the exact same thing in the middle of Japan, they might look at me
Oh
as
yeah.
quite rude, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's that too.
There's so many people in America that they went to Japan. They'd be incredibly rude. Oh my God, talking
Oh,
on your
yeah,
phone
yeah.
out loud and yelling on it, and
Yelling
like,
on
oh,
the phone on the train
oh,
out loud.
man. Oh.
Even having it ring on the train. They used to say, "Please put your phone in polite mode."
I
basically
appreciate
on
that.
silent or vibrate. I was like, I love that. Yeah, and that was back in 2003.
Jesus.
So
It's a whole new generation. Well, it's a generation
whole
later.
new world now.
A generation typically is considered 20 years. That's what
Yes.
a generation
Yes.
is. I don't think a lot of people
That
know
seems
that.
about right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
let's watch some more of these. I like the
right.
interesting conversations we have aside from this, right?
Me too.
Yeah, they sort of relate.
Me too.
I,
They do. See what
James David Vance, do solemnly
here's,
swear.
I watched the movie, that Hillbilly Eulogy. I thought it was a really
Oh,
good
yeah.
movie. I if you haven't watched it, I recommend it. It was
I
was really
will
good.
have to watch that.
That's his
Yeah.
mother right there. If you see the movie, you're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh, that's his mom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
James David Vance, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the
She's in the movie too. It's
yeah, so
it's
it's
really.
his wife,
I
right?
would say the
Yeah.
movie reminds me of like Forrest Gump and like Rudy. You know Rudy? You ever see Rudy?
Yeah, I
It's
love
like
Rudy.
if you put those
They're
two
both great
movies, if you
Yeah.
put them together, it's this movie, and it's directed by Ron Howard. So had
No,
a
I
budget.
pointed this out to a friend of mine. This is interesting. J.D. Vance takes the oath of office first. There's a brief period of time where Joe Biden is president and J.D. Vance is vice president. And I said, there's a period of time there where, I'm not suggesting, if something happened to Joe Biden, let's say, I wonder constitutionally what would happen, because J.D. Vance would then become president. Let's say
That's-
before Donald Trump got sworn in, It would be interesting. It's like there's a weird period of time there where there's that. Like,
Yeah,
transition.
what was it, like a
Yeah.
minute or something? Like,
Yeah, it was like a minute or so, right? It's kind of interesting because my friend, he looked at me and he said, I never thought of that. I said, yeah. Little thought experiment there.
well,
Kind of a little,
it's true, but it happened so fast and it didn't happen that you could spend the
realistically,
time.
It's highly
That,
unlikely.
that's that what if scenario. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
The
I
Constitution
run
of
these
the
thought
United
experiments.
States against all
interesting.
enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely without.
He's much more handsome with his beard. I don't know. I like bearded JD. He looks more like a.
Yes,
like a
yes,
man.
I agree with that. I feel like bearded JD is more distinguished
He
looking.
makes his eyes bluer, and you know.
Yeah,
Any
yeah.
mental
He's a
reservation
handsomer,
or
more
purpose
handsome
of
man.
evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I am about to enter. So help me God.
That's why I like these TikTok videos, because people really, you can get, they just do it. They find the moments. If you watch the YouTube
They do.
videos, it's just long, you know.
They take longer, yeah. And I watched the whole ceremony, as I do every inauguration.
Week,
It could be a
I
long
will
one.
also end the government policy of trying to socially engineer race and gender into.
This was a big one. I mean,
This was a big one.
This was a big one.
Yeah,
I don't know
it's
why.
Almost like
it's-
he's pushing that pendulum right back to the center here.
Yeah, he's
on
like,
this one.
he's
Yeah,
like,
where-
you know how, like, you know, communities start, like how most, you know, it's just more organized this way. It keeps things simpler. You can get you
Right.
could do the other thing. It still happens in America. It's not gone. It's just that
Absolutely.
his primary focus is just like, yeah, men are men and women are women. We're just gonna go with that.
I wonder
Yeah.
too, and I don't mean to minimize any issue here, but I wonder if there's a paperwork concern too. I mean, okay, you have two genders. It's a lot easier M and F on certain forms.
Yeah.
Let's say if that's where we want to go. I didn't see much an issue with an X, but okay, I see what he's doing here. It's gonna be a lot of paperwork you got to fill out and avoid.
I
some
I
of the
do
excessive.
I do
oversight.
foresee it coming back, because I can see generations
yeah.
from now, as AI becomes more of a thing and people start to augment themselves. You know, I have contact
Sure.
lenses in, I'm augmented right now. I'm
Yeah,
sure it
that's
would
a good
only
point.
increase. And like those people could start identifying by their new skills, maybe by the vocations they can do out of those
That's
skills. And then they'll be like,
interesting.
I am cyborg. That makes more sense to me than just like
I see.
the gender.
Yeah.
The gender too, but I think it's going to come more through the technology aspect
That
as
will
well.
be interesting too, and you start to get more cyborg, cybernetic
Like,
organisms
in
and
this-
stuff like that. Yeah.
Right, in this scenario, like Barron Trump would be running for president in like
Way out in the-
2065 or something, or
Hopefully,
2055.
you know, alive. I want to be alive to see a lot of things because I'm just curious. I
Yeah.
tend to be a futurist at
Yeah.
heart. And
Well, that's why this show's
sci-fi
great.
is-
Me and you could speculate, you know, we can
Yeah.
do that.
You've never seen footage of Trump like actually laugh because Trump's autistic. I don't think he's ever shown like real emotion or knows how to. Like think of you've definitely seen Obama laughing, definitely seen W laughing.
Yeah.
You've seen all of them like having a human moment of laughing. Trump can't. I
Laughing.
genuinely don't
He laughs a lot. He smiles a lot.
remember seeing him laugh.
Yeah, I've definitely only ever
smile.
seen. He goes like this. He goes like, and he'll like do like a
Yeah.
quick smile thing.
Literally.
I have a fair amount of comment.
All right, I think that's the end of those shorts. I did want to see some other stuff, but the video is getting longer, and that was fun.
Yeah, that was.
If this goes on the internet, I'm not trying to offend nobody. I just like to react to
Absolutely
things,
not.
and I do like normal things. I do like things when they just are more simplistic, more good fundamentals. So take it for what you
agree,
will.
At very least, that yes, and I think we can. And I mean, no disrespect to anyone, but I think as humans, we have a terrible habit. I know this from my trading, for as an example, to overcomplicate things. There's no reason to add mystery where no mystery is needed.
Yeah.
In my mind,
Sure.
Let's cut out the unnecessary assumptions and things we make, and just run a good clean razor philosophically through.
What I think happens, and this is just my opinion, right? As we make new people, new humans, they have new experiences
Right.
with the decade that they're growing up in, right?
Yep.
And I just think that the what they grow up with is what they identify with. And when I was like a kid, Guns N' Roses came out, and I'm like, oh, I like that.
God,
And then you might
that's
start
right.
wearing like rock and roll shirts, and it's almost like you're joining a cult. You're giving yourself an identity.
Yeah, you're part of something, right?
And
yeah.
I think that's what the woke was. I think, and plus COVID hit, so a lot of people lost
Yeah.
the communicate. They lost the
Yeah.
bonding, and then they started to like they wanted something to work together on. So it just became the big glasses and the blue hair, and it just became the thing,
It's true, and at its. I mean, initially, I guess, or at a certain level of analysis, I can look at it and say, okay, we're working. If you're woke, I'm working towards something good. I want to X. Now, I'm not saying everyone has great intentions, and certainly not everyone has bad intentions either. But I think, unfortunately, what happened is it got hijacked by itself. It's the kind of set of ideas that, if taken to the extreme, starts to consume its young.
Yeah.
And that's a problem. You start to focus on the very things that really aren't that could be overcomplicating issues that don't need complication.
And
is
also,
the world full of racists? Let's really ask that instead of assuming.
Yeah, the world is full of people who have very strong opinions. Look at history, and you'll just see it split into Romans or the Xerxes. Who was Xerxes with? That was like
he was the Persian. Yeah, the Persians, Empire,
the
The
Mongolians.
day, yes.
I mean, this is what happens,
Genghis
right?
Khan.
People come together, they get group-minded, they get a bunch of tough people, and then they will impose their will, and to the point where it can last hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. It's not new. It's not new. People, some of the stuff they do in Afghan, like those people have weird, like they're not good with children. There's a lot of weird things that happens in those countries. And it's just accepted, and it's constantly happening at the same time. Everything else is happening. The people in the West think just because whatever's happened in America, it all is happening. Every horrible thing in the world is happening at the same time. All the good things are happening. So it's just constantly happening and been happening.
Yeah, I think you're right too. You bring up a good point from before too. People are isolated during the COVID-19 pandemic. They're looking for something bigger than themselves.
Yeah.
They perhaps found it. Some people found it in wokeness. Other people found it in, say, maybe supporting the Make America Great.
Yeah.
Donald Trump and his support. And people start to look for something to fill that void. We can't help ourselves. We're social.
Yeah.
And we end up,
and
we tend to be tribal too, so we end up in that sort of situation.
And there is that 16, 17-year, 18-year-old that just wants to be part of a group, and the group has just become all these, like, those groups are, the woke groups can be so many different things. It's almost just the gender fluidity thing is you're adding so much more complications, and it truly is narcissistic. It becomes very narcissistic, where like you can't define me, you can't tell me what I am. I'm like, I wasn't trying to, but you're over here spending your whole day and all your waking thoughts and on this thing, and I got things to do, man. I got stuff to do.
Not to sound too mean about it too, but I'm with you.
Yeah,
I really am. I've got other things to think about.
That's why it didn't work.
I know I'm a guy. I'm a man. I know what my preferences are. I happen to be straight. That's it. Like, I don't spend much more time thinking about it. Like, okay, now I got other things to do, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's funny.
And I do have a culture. I am cultured. I am a man. I am white. And I like all those things. And I'm not going to just sit there and bend a knee and be like, I'm horrible. I'm sorry for any of my lineage that ever existed. No.
Yeah,
my other citizenship to my other country, they have the most beautiful history. It's they're amazing people, the Germanics. They're barbaric, but they are very interesting. But with that,
there you go.
They're always fun videos.
They are.
We kind of did a broad range of things, but I liked it. I thought it was fun.
I love it. I think it's great.
All right. Until next time.